Well, Shabbat Shalom. I just want to welcome everyone to the Sabbath Day conference call. This is Barbara, and I'm serving as your host today. And we just want to welcome all our family and friends of Yah that are here today by the phone or internet, and also those of you that are listening to the recording or the YouTube recording. And for more information about the Creator Sabbath, we invite you to go to the website, lunarsabbathday.com. It's a great source of information about the Creator's calendar. There's videos there, lots of articles, lots of information, and there's the events page. You can scroll down to the bottom and see how to connect with us for Sabbath and New Moon days. We have fellowship call. We would love to have you come and join us. And we want to really welcome all the newcomers that are here with us today. Today our discussion is, what is the Feast of Trumpets and what is Yom Teruah? So the Feast of Trumpets is the first of the fall feast. Number 1 is Trumpets, number 2 is Day of Atonement, and number 3 is Tabernacles. So you might ask yourself, why do we need to keep the feast? Well, here's a verse from Jehovah, Leviticus 23:2. Jehovah Almighty said in Scripture, "These are my feasts, the feasts of Jehovah, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations. These are my feasts." So that sounds pretty impressive, doesn't it? And so these are the instructions. And Brother All said he'd help me read today. And would you read these scriptures today, brother?
Okay. Numbers 29:1. On the first day of the 7th month, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. It is a day for you to blow the trumpets. In Leviticus 23:23-24, in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall observe a day of solemn rest, a memorial proclaimed with blast of trumpets, a holy convocation.
Okay, so the Feast of Trumpets is the first day of the 7th month. And here's a biblical calendar showing New Moon Day, the first day of the month, as trumpets. So trumpets is Yom Teruah also. Yom Teruah is an appointed time, a moed. And the Hebrew word for feast, moadim, literally means appointed time. Yom Teruah is a day to remember Jehovah with the blowing of trumpets in preparation for the upcoming Day of Atonement, because Day of Atonement will be coming soon after trumpets. And so Yom Teruah is a day of shouting or blasting. And in Rosh Hashanah, Hebrew, literally means head of the year, and it's the Jewish New Year. So the biblical name for this holiday, though, is Yom Teruah, and it literally means day of shouting or blasting, and that's from Wikipedia. And we're going to be talking about Rosh Hashanah in this study today. But the Bible words for trumpet is Yom Teruah. Okay, so trumpets is a day of rest and remembrance and shouting.
One of the unique things about Yom Teruah is that the Torah does not say what the purpose of this holiday is. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, will be a day of rest, Shabbaton, for you, a remembrance, shouting, a holy convocation. You shall do no work, and you will bring a fire sacrifice to Yahuwah." Leviticus 23:23-25. The name of Yom Teruah provides a clue as to its purpose. Teruah literally means to make a loud noise. This word can describe the noise made by a trumpet, but it is also describes the noise made by a large gathering of people shouting in unison.
Okay, so a day of shouting, a day of joy. And if you we're on the fellowship call with today, we start our fellowship with blowing the shofars, announcing our time of meeting. So we're going to talk a little bit about Rosh Hashanah versus Yom Teruah. Rosh Hashanah, let's see, today few people remember the biblical name of Yom Teruah, and instead it is widely known as Rosh Hashanah, which literally means head of the year, and hence also New Year's. But is it the Father's New Year? That's what we're going to talk about. Is Rosh Hashanah the beginning of a new year? Well, what does Exodus 12 say about it? Exodus 12, 1-2. And Jehovah spoke unto Moshe and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. And that is the Passover story, Exodus 12, 1-27. So the Bible states the Passover month in the spring is the beginning of the year. Not Rosh Hashanah in the fall. It is in the beginning at the springtime. So why is the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah, also called Rosh Hashanah? Here are a couple of questions, Brother Al, and answers.
Question: Is it the same holiday with two different names? Or are they two different holidays scheduled for the same day? Answer: The answer is a bit more complicated than just a simple yes or no. Surprisingly, Rosh Hashanah is a traditional Jewish holiday, not a biblical one. In traditional Judaism, Rosh Hashanah is known as the Jewish New Year or head of the year. It was marked as a holiday by the ancient rabbis in the 2nd century CE.
So Rosh Hashanah is a Jewish tradition, and it's not biblical. So is the Jewish New Year in Scripture? Well, when Jews started calling the 7th month by the Babylonian name Tishri, it paved the way for turning Yom Teruah into a Jewish Ekatu. So here we have trumpets versing Rosh Hashanah as New Year. So some people have argued that Yom Teruah should be considered New Year's because it is the beginning of the sabbatical year. However, the Torah does not say that Yom Teruah is the beginning of the sabbatical year. All indications are that the year begins on the first day of the first month, as we read in Exodus 12, 1-2. In Rosh Hashanah, on the other side, today few people remember the biblical name of Yom Teruah, and instead it is widely known as Rosh Hashanah, which literally means head of the year, and hence also New Year's. The transformation of Yom Teruah day of shouting into Rosh Hashanah, New Year's, is a result of pagan Babylonian influence upon the Jewish nation. And that's a quote from Nehemiah's Wall, nehemiahswall.com. So Babylonian influence.
From very early times, the Babylonians had a lunar solar calendar very similar to the biblical calendar. The result was that Yom Teruah often fell out on the same day as the Babylonian New Year's festival of Atiku. The Babylonian Atiku fell out on the first day of the Tishri, which coincided with Yom Teruah on the first day of the 7th month. At the same time, the rabbis did not want to adopt Akitu outright, so they Judaized it by changing the name of Yom Teruah, Day of Shouting, to Rosh Hashanah, New Year's, which is also found in nehemiahswall.com.
Okay, so in contrast to Babylonian paganism, the Torah does not say or imply that Yom Teruah has anything to do with New Year's. On the contrary, the Feast of Sukkot, or Booth, which takes place exactly 2 weeks after Yom Teruah, is referred to in one verse as the going out of the year. So tabernacles would be the going out of the year, and that's in the fall. That's from Exodus 23:16, and we're going to see the verse in a minute. This would be like calling January 15 in the modern Western calendar the going out of the year. The Torah would not describe Sukkot in this manner if it intended Yom Teruah to be celebrated as New Year's. And here's the biblical calendar up here. I just wanted you to look at it real quick. We have Trumpets as day 1, which is New Moon Day. And then you'll see Tabernacles would be the 15th, and that is the Sabbath. And then all the 6 working days of the week, and the last day there, the 21st of the feast, and then that makes the 22nd day of the month a Sabbath. So anyways, back to Tabernacles being going out of the year. Here's that verse, Exodus 23:16. And the feast of harvest, the feast first fruits of thy labors which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is at the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. So the verse is talking about tabernacles as going out of the year, not the beginning of a new year. So really we're talking about trumpets today, but trumpets is the beginning of the 7th month. It's not the beginning of a new year. And in Yom Teruah, we always want to remember that the king is coming. Remember that last trump we're going to hear? We're going to hear the trumpet of Yah, and Yeshua is going to be coming. And that's what we're waiting for, that trump, the trump of resurrection, the trump of his coming. And so that's why we're remembering it. And the fall feasts are yet to be fulfilled. Yeshua fulfilled the spring feast. All the feasts point to him. But the fall feasts are yet to be fulfilled. And we are looking forward to it very much. Blow the trumpet in Zion. Sound the alarm on my holy hill. Let all who live in the land tremble, for the day of Jehovah is coming. It is close at hand. Joel 2:1. So the Feast of Trumpets is the first day of the 7th month on the Creator's calendar. And then on this calendar here, you'll see Day of Atonement is the 10th day, and that's what we're looking forward to. We're only a couple days from trumpets here on the calendar we're on. We're at the end of the month, and we're beginning the 7th month. In a couple more days, we'll be having a new moon conference call. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about trumpets. Some of you may have just come out of the church, and the church I came out of did not keep the feast. So we did a whole study about that last week. But the feasts are very important, and the feasts prove the creation calendar. The days of the feast prove when Sabbaths are. So I hope this was helpful to you, and please everyone stay around for questions and answers about the Creator's calendar. And thank you, Brother Al, for reading today.